Sometimes in life, the most unexpected humans create some of the most beautiful moments and opportunities. A few years ago, I met an amazing couple, passionate, creative, and deeply committed to each other and co-creating extraordinary moments, but also struggling to find their footing in their relationship. That couple was Marnie and Patrick, and they reached out to me not as foodies or collaborators in business, but as clients in need of support, understanding, and skills. You fast forward to today, and not only are they still together, they're thriving and have become examples for others whom they inspire, love, and support. And they've also built a successful business and have invited Tom and Brooke and I to co-create something that is truly magical. Think of it like this: a foodie retreat meets relationship retreat in a 1,000-year-old castle that is nestled in the hills of Tuscany this fall in 2026. Today on the Love Shack, we are going to share with you a real-life story about what it really takes to transform a relationship, how their savory pie business has become a gift and a contribution to so many of us around the world, and why it is co-creating with them has been one of the most incredible opportunities that have come to Brooke and Tom and I in a very long time. So welcome to the Love Shack. This is Staci Bartley, your host, and Tom, my co-host and lover, and our daughter, Brooke. And together, we support people in the relational challenges of life, teaching you skills and principles that are designed to be practical and move the needle for you.
Hey, thank you for coming. Welcome to the Love Shack.
So without further ado, let's welcome the stars of this story to the Love Shack here, Marnie and Patrick from Solstice Savory Pies. Welcome to the show, you two.
Thank you. That's quite an intro.
I know.
I adore you two. I really, really do. So excited about what's to come. But let's begin at the beginning. I would love for you to be able to share your fool around and fall in love story. Like, how did the two of you come to be? Because that's usually a human moment that changes lives. It gets to be pretty extraordinary too. I mean, all this because the two of you fooled around, right?
Well, I would say magic.
Mhm.
We call it magic.
Mhm.
When we first met, I think it was like 2013. And then fast forward years later, we met again and we were both single. There was just something about him that I was like, there's just something that I can't describe. We both say it's like magic. So it's just this connection that I hadn't felt really with anybody. And I don't know what would
So I think even kind of going back to when we first met, there was just something. There was that magical connection where you just start talking to somebody and you just kind of go deeper and deeper into them, and you can feel it kind of come back your way too. And there was this deep richness, and we only talked for about 10 minutes or something like that. And it was just like, wow, like, all right. That was pretty cool. So yeah. And then fast forward later, we were on social media friends and we chatted back and forth a little bit. Marnie was doing some traveling and reached out to me on some things.
I was asking questions about stuff.
And then she invited me to
It was the
Moonraker Brewery
for the Humanity Night.
Yes.
That I organized with a bunch of friends. And I was like, oh, that'd be perfect. I'll invite Patrick to that. And then we realized we both have the same sixth sense of humor.
We just met with the cards and giggled. And
we had that same magic moment as that when we met years prior. The rest is history.
Yeah.
And there's a lot that happened in between. Blended family, lots of things.
So at what point in time in your relationship journey did you realize that, okay, I've come to the bottom of my bag of tricks or my skills or my principles that I know we're going to need in order to carry this forward? Like, what was that moment? And what was it that you felt like something needed to shift?
Well, I think because we both have children of our own. So we came into the relationship. My son was almost 10. His son was almost 10. They're only a day apart. And then a 14-year-old. And so we were dating, and it was for a couple of years, seeing each other once a week because of children's schedules and stuff like that. And then we got really serious, and we both realized that we needed to navigate the blended family part of it. That always puts a lot of stress on it. So we ended up finding you through a friend. And I actually went and saw you first for a couple weeks. And then I invited Patrick. And let's just say the reason why we're together today and the reason why we're healthy and why we keep working on it and we know what we need to do is because of you, Staci. We wouldn't be together right now without you, because we learned so much about our own issues and what we had to work on personally, and also have trust. You've got to be whole yourself before you come together as a couple. So, and I think knowing that we were both safe, we're both in a safe place with each other and we could say whatever we needed to say. That was huge. And that is because of you. And I don't say that lightly. I tell everybody, I'm like, Staci is the reason why Patrick and I are together.
Truly might get to the work is always done by you. I just hope that I have some skills and principles to guide you, but you got to implement them. The credit always goes back to the two of you. Let me ask, if I may, was there a particular skill or mindset shift that really changed things up for both of you in regards to how you think about relationships and how to navigate forward?
Yeah, I would say there are a couple things. I don't know if this is appropriate, but there's the gap, right? Between two, the communication gap that you talked about. And it's like, and if you end up in that zone, you end up in the land of the F.
Yes. You can say fuck on the podcast. It's okay.
We always say that. We're like, let's not end up in the land of the fuck. Like,
and so that was so accurate. And it just made me realize that we have to fill that space always. So it's like wandering the desert, and then you become alone with your thoughts, and then your mind makes up things and their mind makes up things. And then all of a sudden you're moving apart on things. So that was one. And then the other one was, there was a part of me that just didn't feel comfortable expressing just my thoughts, how I felt about things, because I felt like I would end up in an out of control situation. But it just cracked me open. Like, I remember that my life has been different since then, where I'm happy to say the thing. I don't care if it's wrong. I don't care if it's not what people want to hear or whatever. It has to be said. And I trust myself where I'm not trying to hurt people. And if things are taken that way or whatever, then that's a bit more on them necessarily. But it's like life in general. If you say what you have to say, you say it kindly, then it's kind of what the other person does with it from there. So that was beautiful in the sense that I could say with Marnie what my needs were. And I could trust that Marnie would listen to me. And that was important as breakthrough. And I've been using that ever since, leveraging it ever since in all kinds of different ways. It allowed me to crack open where before I was a bit locked into who I was, had all these things that were kind of over time, just kind of calcified, and I became a bit static. It allowed me to crack open and become my next level in life, which was such a beautiful thing.
I think about this a lot myself too, personally, because as we talk about these things, that you don't ever arrive at just being able to check the box and say, okay, I don't need to, apply these principles or skills in my life. They're lifelong things that we get the privilege and honor of learning and understanding. But then there's still going to be those moments, I love the word you said, calcified, where should I go back to this? And the irony of it all is the thing that I'm trying to avoid is usually created by the thing I'm resisting to do. So I remind myself of that a lot. Right?
Said another way, you're turning into the version of the very thing that you're wanting to not have in your life.
Isn't that interesting? So the more I don't have a voice and the more I don't disclose and the more that I feel like I can't say what it is I want to say to avoid, whatever that is, fill in the blank, the more likely I am to feel disconnection. And so then I get deeper and deeper into that place, as you said, and there I live. I'm safe, but I'm also preventing myself from being able to experience any of the beautiful parts and pieces that I so long and have the capacity and potential to do. But it's because of my own fear and conversation around this that I say, no, it's best I don't say this. And then on the other side of the relationship, there's nothing for anybody to connect to or know about you because you're not revealing it. So those deep, intimate places that I know you and Marnie share now, they go missing. Our relationship becomes extremely surface, task-oriented, very box-checking kinds of experiences. instead of the sweet space to be able to say, I'm hurting, or I'm confused, or I'm struggling, or this doesn't work for me, or can we switch this up a bit? Because this is what I really want to do. We don't sometimes, and have to be reminded, myself included, how important that voice that we bring to the table is, I love the words you use too, cracked open. That's beautiful.
Yeah. And I've had to use that so many times when we travel a lot. And so that puts like a ton of strain on relationship. And so it's just been huge to be able to say, hey, we left the retreat and we went to Trento up in Italy. And we drove like 5 hours, straight out of the retreat. And the retreat is super interesting because it's this beautiful thing, but full engagement. And so there's some decompressing coming out of it. And then we're driving for 5 hours.
Which I love to do.
Yeah. And then we get to Trento and Marnie's like, well, from here, we can go to here. And then we can go to here. And I'm like, hey, can we just hang out here for a couple days and just walk around, chill out, go to some cafes and stuff like that.
And I was like, oh, we should go do this. Yeah, we should go do that.
She's so excited about it.
I gotta do this. And so, but this is where our relationship now, years of being together, is that he told me that. And then I was like, I thought about it. And I was like, he's probably right. And he was right. And
we ended up having this magical time for 3 days there. We had no plans. We didn't know what was even there, or anything, but it was magical. And I was able to decompress and get energy for the next 5-hour drive.
There you go. I feel like through the work that we went through with you was life-changing in the sense that I had a lot of my own personal issues. My mom had died 6 months prior. That was pretty shocking. Trying to help caretake for my dad. We were a blended family where his older son, it was just a total disconnection. So it was tough. And I was kind of like, I just don't want to deal with this. And COVID, it was so much stuff. I hid away and I was like, I don't want to face this. This is too much for me to deal with, I thought. But then I realized I need to get to the bottom of, why do I do these things? Or why do I run away when it gets hard? Or why is it that I can't say what I need? And a lot of that stuff was from prior relationships, prior marriage. So for me, doing the work with Patrick was knowing that I'm safe and I can say whatever I want to say, that he actually likes my kind of craziness, which I think for some men, the amount of energy that I have going, I want to do this, I want to create this, I want to create that. He helped me. He was like, create the life that you want. And I was like, really? Like I have the permission, which I felt like before. It's so silly. It's like, I had permission for myself, but I felt like I didn't know that I actually could do it. It sounds really weird, but it took me only 40 some years, almost 50 years to figure that out. For us, I think going back to it, feeling safe, knowing that I'm safe, knowing I can say whatever I need to say. I don't ever walk on eggshells. I don't take things personally most of the time because whatever he's doing in his own life is his own life. It's that saying of like, nobody's going to complete you. You have to complete yourself. And then you have this person that's your partner that only adds to your life. So if you I love you and I can't imagine my life without you at all. You're my best friend. You're my partner, my lover. It's like all these things together. But I complete my own life and you were just like this amazing added cherry on top. And I feel like he's the same way because he has his own life of what he's doing with, we have different likes, we have different interests, but then we come together and that's a beautiful thing. Mm-hmm. I think for me, feeling safe that I can be me and I can flourish and he's just there as the best partner ever. And I'm like, that's huge. And as we get older, that's important. I can't imagine looking back at my first marriage. I'm like, it was nothing like this. And a lot of it was my fault because I didn't know how to communicate what I needed to.
Yeah. You two of you are such a reflection of Tom and I. And I know we've touched on this in some of our private personal conversations. Brookie's nodding her head unbelievably. If you're not watching this video, then audio, just know she is shaking her head. It's this idea of, I remember hearing throughout my previous relationships that you're just too much and you're never satisfied and you always want to do more and you always want to create more and explore more and learn more. When are you ever going to be satisfied? And so I would try and tamper that down Like, oh, okay, I probably shouldn't ask for this or go there, or explore this, or want to drive for that because it's too much. It's just over the top. I'm too much, And then I would get so frustrated. I'd either get depressed and shut down, and I was just a shell of myself. I tried that as a coping mechanism. But then I'd also just lose my shit, and I would explode in these crazy places where even I would go, what is going on with you? Like, this isn't who you are. And this isn't the core of who you want to be or how you want to show up. But it was like this buildup of pressure would just become so intense that I would just explode. And it's because there was no outlet for, you said it best, Marnie, this energy to create, to go, to learn. And I've come to realize now, 30 years later, that some of us just need that variety and some of us don't. And what's interesting is that we fool around and fall in love with people who are a counterbalance to that. And so just like you, Patrick, Tom will say, babe, 5 hours, one city is good. We're good now. We're good. Let's just enjoy where we are and not feel like we need to add more. How many times have you said that to me, babe? You always got to get to the bottom, whatever it is. More is always better. And there's some truth to that, right? Like, yeah, why aren't I can be here? It's helped me find this really delicate balance within myself about when to drive and when to just value what it is we are experiencing right now. And that's been a lifelong lesson too. And don't feel bad, Marnie. I mean, I was almost 40 myself, so sometimes it takes a minute. And I still learn it. I still have to remember it, where I'm wanting to charge and do more and do more and do more. And Tom's the counterbalance that goes, babe, maybe we're good now. But always willing to support the dream and the expansion and the learning and the growth. There's a balance to both of those sides, Well,
I think so too, because like Patrick, way more like planned and controlled in some ways, where I'm more of like, oh, I've got this idea. Yeah. Because I love novelty. I mean, like I'm not addicted to novelty, but I do love novelty. If I do the same thing over and over, I'm like, I can't stand it. It's like torture. It's kind of like me, doing accounting for the business. I'm like, oh God, can't stand it. But what's great is Pat has learned more novelty, and you'll say to me like the 30-day contract of love. Yep. So I think about that, and then I'll tell him like, hey, this is what I'm really feeling like I'm needing. Like, I just need novelty. This is like something I need just for the way my brain works. I need something that's different. So he'll be like, hey, you want to go to happy hour? And I'm like, yes, let's go, just to change it up and go do something. But so it's great that he's been so kind about letting me be me.
Yeah.
And go with it.
Well, she might have all this energy for things and step through new doors all the time, but you execute too. I mean, you make them happen. So they aren't just kind of like, and so it's kind of magical to watch you go.
I get also exhausted though. I'm like, I get like all of a sudden I'm like, I am so exhausted. I'm like, I need to go somewhere and just not do anything and have an Aperol spritz or 2 or 3, just let my brain relax a little bit. And so yeah, this year we have a big travel schedule. So along with work and stuff, but he's my rock. I should say, I want to say that too. Like I'll come back to you when I'm feeling worn out and I'll tell you how I feel. And then you're like, yeah, just chill out.
It's funny how we forget about that, huh, Marnie? Oh, like that's an option. Oh yeah. I totally forgot.
We're not achieving. They're doing something, like I never thought I was a type A. And then I'm like, I guess I am kind of a type A.
You're type S. Squirrel.
Oh yeah, he calls me a squirrel. Well, it's where my brilliance comes from, where I get these creative thoughts, and I'm like, oh, that could be possible.
Mm-hmm.
Launching the pie business, and then going like, oh, I'm going to do retreats too, at the same time, and it's like, wow, the squirrel power, right? So you're
the squirrel,
yeah, you're cranking through things because there's so many things to do.
Yeah,
I love watching her grow, and learn from her. It's beautiful. It's like who we should be as human beings, I think.
But having a partner that totally supports my crazy thoughts has been the reason why I can do it. I really feel like, because also if I was on my own doing this myself, it would be hard.
Yeah.
I have a great partner that we have dinner together and chat about stuff. And we have our Monday night date night, no matter what. We try not to talk about work, but usually we do.
I have a philosophy on that. We work together, and I know the two of you work together. it's like, why can't we talk about it? It's where we co-create magic. Right. So I know everybody says, oh, you shouldn't talk about work. Well, that's not true. If it's something that you're both very impassioned about and you want to create and throw around ideas, I mean, there's nothing like intellectual intimacy. That can be great. Like, ooh, hey, baby, that's almost as good as sex sometimes, you know? So that intellectual intimacy is incredible. So I say, gosh, if you're going there, talk about work.
Well, the work thing often is like, it's often creating, you know?
Yeah.
It's creating solutions and stuff like that. Oftentimes it's like a puzzle.
Very much so. Much so.
For me, there's always a solution to the problem, or that's part of being a business owner and being an entrepreneur. You got to have that kind of feeling and attitude that deep down, there's always a solution to it, whatever that is. It may not always work out perfectly, but you pick yourself up and you try something different.
And then we throw in the mix and we bring in a daughter. Brooke, you have anything to chime in on this, working with your crazy parents?
Well, I was just going to comment that I'm turning 40 this year and listening to Marnie and Mom 2 talk about how they had this panic about maybe they weren't good at relationships at the age of 40, but also knowing how much you both were navigating, like you had children, you'd been married once. I just think it's interesting how society puts so much pressure on men and women, but specifically women, to figure it all out and be good at everything and like know how to do love and know how to be a great mom and know how to achieve your career aspirations all before the age of 40, and then puts pressure on us to think that if one of those things isn't working out, that you're a failure. It just struck me because I'm turning 40 and I don't have kids yet. I haven't been able to have them. I want them, but like, I have such a hard time managing just myself and my relationship with my fiance and my work. I can't imagine keeping a child alive and doing all of that. It just struck me in that moment like, wow, you know, I would consider the two of you very strong, like capable women who know how to get stuff done and who are great moms and who want to do all that stuff. But like, where is the time that you were going to learn all the things you didn't know? You know what I mean? There wasn't any. So no wonder you both ended up in a place where you were like, what do I do now? Because you had to give all the free time that you could have been practicing these skills to everyone but yourself. I just think it's interesting how society then punishes you for that instead of making you feel like, well, look at all the things you did do. And then maybe because all of the things you did do led you to have some struggles, let's help you figure that out rather than trying to make you feel like a failure, you know?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly, Brooke. You know, you're going to, 40. Oh my God. 40 is so awesome. I have to say 40 to 45 is the best sex. That period is amazing, you know?
Yeah. It honestly feels like to me, I'm just becoming an adult.
Turning 40 as a woman is a real big turning point. I'm not a doctor, so I don't know the exact why, but I know that things change. And Staci knows, but I also just tell you, when I was turning 40, I was going through a divorce. I had a 4-year-old. I decided I was like, we had a restaurant concept together that grew. And then I was like, I don't want to be a part of that. I want to go back to school. So then I was like a starving student for a while with my son. But my main focus was my son, at the time. I'm like, I've got to do whatever I need to do to make sure. But I was so insecure and so I just had a lot to figure out. So you were doing awesome at 40. I'm proud of you. You're doing amazing. And I think we're also from the generation, Staci, of we're like the feral Gen X. Nobody talked, like our moms didn't talk to us about things, or my mom never talked to me about menopause and perimenopause and all those things where, gosh, like you're doing amazing. And I feel like I look back and I'm like, there's a lot of things I would have changed, but at the same time too, I'm glad I went through it because it is the reason why I'm here right now. And it's the reason why Patrick, it's like everything is kind of meant to be. It just kind of happened that way, Yeah.
But I also feel like you guys didn't have the same permission that I have to be living the life I live. You know what I mean? It's okay that I don't have a kid yet. I wish I did, but I'm saying it's becoming more normal and there's more permission for the younger generations to explore and to work on themselves and take the time that they feel they need to achieve things in the time that's appropriate for them. Whereas I feel like none of you had that same opportunity because there was so much pressure on you guys to achieve things in much younger. Like before your prefrontal cortex is even fully developed, you needed to have a family, which just blows my mind because I can't imagine having a kid 15 years ago. It's interesting to think about that. I think there's generations that put so much pressure on you guys to have known everything, but we also don't then flip it around and think, well, what did they have to sacrifice to have everything that they had to make my life possible while I have so much more opportunity to do what I want?
I have to say, though, I was quite different. I was a river guide. My parents were mortified because I graduated high school. I did a semester at community college. I was like, this is not right for me. I became like, follow the sun, hippie river guide.
Yeah.
I did a little different.
It just blows my mind. I can't imagine making all of the choices that people older than me made at the ages that they did. It just seems impossible because of my life experience.
Yeah, I ended up getting pregnant at 17 and was escorted to the doors of the high school and basically given a transcript and patted on the back and said, good luck. You're probably going to end up on welfare was kind of the speech I was given because there wasn't like any support for that kind of thing, And so it was this place of starting out life as an embarrassment and such. And I remember being so angry and so fired up. I'm like, fuck all you people. I'm going to show you that what you're telling me is not true. And that was probably the best thing that ever happened to me. I do appreciate what you're saying too, because if we were to just travel back in time, really not that far, there were all kinds of jokes in my family, and I bet in your family too, about how you're going to be on your own and need to carry your own weight at 18. And there's just no ifs, ands, or buts about it. So figure it out, and then you're supposed to fool around and marry, your lifetime sweetheart and have children and a white picket fence and a house and a dog and the cats. And then guess what? You're going to be so happy. And so you
That's a laugh.
my gosh, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and I don't think the guys are any happier than the women. And I think they're just going, wow, okay, I didn't know that providing for a family and kids and not being able to have, a place where I feel like I belong because I'm gone most of the time providing. Where do I find my place and my space in this? I don't think anybody is thriving like we were told and taught that it was going to be. I think we were all doing the roles that we were taught and told we needed to fulfill. And then we wondered where all the joy and the happiness and the meaning and all the good stuff was that we were promised was sure to come. And then you just think, well, I guess it's just a time thing. I guess it's when the kids leave. Oh, I guess it's when we retire work, and then I have more time to do some of these things. And then you get down through your whole life where you start to look at it, and I think this is why we were 40, everybody, where you're kind of going, shit, this isn't working out. Like this story is not the story that I was told it was. And unlike our parents, not right or wrong or good or bad, but unlike our parents, we decided to tip over the apple cart. And when we did, it wasn't like we knew what we were doing. We just decided to take a different route with its own challenges and gifts and opportunities. And so, yeah, you couldn't move in with somebody else. You couldn't just move in and decide you're going to give it a try. That was sinful, right? You had to get married. You didn't have time to not marry until you were 30 because you were a spinster or you were just a playa out there sowing your oats. And so there was a lot of, to your point, Brooke, social narrative that did play out in that generation. And now I almost wonder if we've swung too far the other way, right? Like, I don't know, but relationship seems to take a back burner and we're becoming more isolated overall. And so we're forgetting how to create relationships and have intimate conversations with each other, which is a whole nother layer of, yes, we've taken the time, but we're not also challenged sometimes or pushed or encouraged to create interconnections in real time with other people. So it's all behind a device now. And so it's starting to compromise our connection.
So are we really going to Tuscany with these people?
Well, I was just going to circle this back around. And I don't want this moment to pass without giving great gratitude and great significant mention of, it's a special thing when you run hot and need a lot of variety like Marnie and I, and we find two incredible men who are not threatened by that they can provide the grounding and the, yeah, let's do that. But let's pace ourselves. We don't need to burn ourselves out. Let's maybe enjoy this along the way. And okay, there's places to run and then there's places to slow down. And I call Tom my handler for a reason, right? I really use him to say, okay, it's time to go. And then, okay, now it's enough, because without it, I think I would have flamed out a long time ago. But also such a gift, and to have somebody that believes in you and your dreams and what it is you want to create and do. And then they want to come along for the ride. I mean, that's just a special thing. So Patrick and Tom very much are the anchors to these high charging, spirited women. And I just want both of you to hear me say thank you. Yeah.
I think they also like it deep down.
Mm-hmm.
Very intentional choice.
Yeah, no, in all fairness, I believe it takes a strong man to handle a strong lady. And I love it because in my prior relationship, I didn't have that, and so I love to be able to leverage off of you and just support you. I've been driving hard my whole life. So I just say, honey, you take the lead and tell me where we need to go, baby. And I'm all behind you. I mean, really, it's a wonderful combination that, yeah, it wouldn't be the right fit for, but no, Patrick and I, we've had many deep conversations in the castle, and we'll have more too as well.
Let's talk about Tuscany for a minute. Marnie and Patrick have created Savory solstice pies, and they've created retreats to support that business. But actually, it might have been just because of the love of travel too. We'll let them talk about that. But the truth is Marnie has been hosting foodie retreats in Italy for quite a while now. And because we met back in 2020 and I had the privilege and honor of supporting these two beautiful souls into creating a place that had more balance and skills and principles that they could operate in their life. And because they did the work and implemented it, the credit always goes to them. It wasn't long, maybe like 2 years ago, Marnie kept saying, come on, you got to come to, and she sent me pictures and tell me stories. And I think, okay, I'm going to get to it. I'm going to get to it. I really want to do that. But there was always this place where like, okay, yeah, I'll wait. Maybe we'll explore that next year. And it was finally last year when we reconnected. And funny enough, it was right around my son's wedding. There was so much going on. It wasn't like it was the perfect time. But Marnie was insistent, like, Stace, okay, enough of this, right? What do I need to do to get you to come over here and experience this? Because I just know you're going to love it. And as Robin Williams said in the movie Dead Poets Society, carpe diem, seize the day and make your lives extraordinary. I went, okay, I got to stop kicking this can down the road. And so Tom and I ended up traveling back to Italy, and words cannot express as you're walking up that rampart and into this beautiful castle with those doors, and you're touching things that are 1,000 years old, and you're exploring the property of this beautiful castle and the vineyards and the olive groves, and you're touching things that come from the Etruscan civilization, and you can see the remnants of a whole civilization that hasn't been around for thousands of years. And it was this moment of just, I don't know how to put words on that. Like, it is just a jaw-dropping moment. And so needless to say, we came home from that experience and scheduled not one, but 2 retreats, because I was like, we have got to share this with more people. Like, as you said to me once, Marnie, I'll never forget you looking me dead in the eyes and saying, sometimes the place makes all the difference. And I went, oh, I so understand what you were trying to impart to me now that I've had the experience versus when you were trying to convey to me what this place was and what it gives you and what it provides for you. Let's share with our listeners about the experience and the retreat and maybe why it's different than just your standard travel package.
It's almost comical.
You can get the travel.
I can't say it without laughing.
Right.
It's like, okay, here's your standard travel package if you want to go see Italy, right?
I found the castle. I actually found it online a few years ago. I forget where it was. I just was searching castles online that I could invite. I wanted to bring girlfriends and then friends of girlfriends and go experience a castle. But I can't really afford to just go stay in a castle myself, especially out like the majority of castle where all the guests stay is called the Villa apartment. So there's 8 rooms and it is really special. But this apartment, there's something special about it. So I got a bunch of ladies together and said, okay, we're going to do this. Let's just go and we'll do a couple things like we'll have them show us how they make cheese and We'll have Pasquale, one of the chefs from Naples, make us dinner for a couple nights. And then the rest of the time, we'd go and do whatever we wanted to do. So from the moment we showed up, everyone was like, how did you find this place? I said, well, I did some research online. The pictures used to be online a few years ago. Do not do it justice. I say that because the castle, there's just something extremely special about the land and the castle. The land is in a valley. It's almost like a bowl-shaped valley. Right behind it is Mount Amiata, which is the tallest dormant volcano in all of Tuscany. So basically, you have this valley that has the soil from the volcano from millions of years ago. You have this valley that's like a perfect temperate climate where they can grow grapes, they can grow olives. There's lots of other things, fruit trees. It has a river that goes through the valley. So from the moment I walked in, there was something about it. I know that's silly to sound, but it's almost like I'd been there before in my past, and I don't even know if I believe in past lives, but there was something about it that it was very special to me. And the people that own it, I connected immediately with Charlotte, who owns the castle. She's quite eccentric and amazing. And she has done everything with the castle, the complete reconstruction, her family. She's painted, like when you go into the room, she's painted little tiny details on the ceilings. She's planted all the grapes on the property, a lot of the olive trees. It's just basically this amazing place where I feel like it's my second home now, where when we pull off the road from Seggiano and we start to go down the road that goes to the castle, I get like giddy. I'm like a little kid. Every time I go there, I get giddy. I get excited because I'm like, oh, I'm going back. I'm going back. The energy at the castle too, it just has a really calming energy. I mean, once we're at the castle, basically we do a lot of stuff on the castle, on the ground. So for me, if you want to do a travel package when you go to Italy, this is what they do. You got to go to Rome. You got to go to Florence. You got to go to Cinque Terre. You got to go to Venice, Siena. Siena is a beautiful city in Tuscany, totally amazing. But you don't get off the beaten path. And so what I found when we went to the castle, we're pretty far out from everything. The closest Grosseto, which is about an hour away. There's Montalcino, which is known for the Brunello wine. That's only like 30 minutes away. So basically you get to the castle and you're there at the castle. You're immersing yourself with learning how to make cheese. You're learning how to make Sardinian food. You're learning how to make Roman food. You're doing all these different things with chefs that are there. They come in, they cook with us. You slow down. I think that's a big thing. You slow down. Time kind of goes a little slower there. Like people in the middle of the afternoon will be sitting outside and in the sun and they're like, what should I do? I'm like, what a gift that is, to go, maybe I'll go to the pool. Maybe I'll jump in the pool. Maybe I'll take a book to the pool, which a lot of the time when you're traveling and say if you're in Siena or something, you're constantly going. So you're constantly on that hamster wheel. I got to take a picture of this. I got to do this. I got to do that. While you're at the castle, it just slows down. Time slows down. It really is true.
The pace of the castle is much different.
It's much different.
It's almost like the river that goes through. It's like the pace of the river.
Yes.
The landscape dominates.
The landscape dominates. Huge. The castle in castle terms is actually a small castle. I think it's got about 20 rooms. So that sounds silly, but but the Etruscan history. So the Etruscans once lived on the land, on the property, there's Etruscan wine stones. So where they used to grow their own wines. This was thousands of years ago. Pre-Roman. So the Romans, over time came in and took over Etruscan areas. And so the Etruscans, there's not even really a known language of the Etruscans. Women had a lot more power too. So the Romans didn't like that either.
I was just going to say, to stack on that, I loved that the castle wasn't like this museum piece, that it was actually something you could like immerse yourself into. And I remember, of course, I have to explore all the underground cavities and all the secret passages and such, and I remember running into the kitchen staff because it popped out at the kitchen and I didn't know how to get out. Like I had gone too far underneath the castle. And it was just so precious that all of that was welcome, that exploring it and putting your hands on it and experiencing it in a very human, real way, or touching the books that are 400 and 500 years old and putting your hands on those Etruscan artifacts and the land and in the dirt and such was just really a magical experience for me, especially because I'm somebody who's so tactile, that it wasn't this thing that you could look at and not touch. You could actually touch it. And I loved that. I loved that about my room. I loved that about all the places and spaces and the kitchens and the tables and the land. And it was just fantastic. You could walk the vineyards and the olive groves, the gardens, and really experience life as it happens in that valley. It was incredible for me.
It's like you go back in time. If you didn't
really
see
is.
cars, you would be like, are we back like 300-400 years ago? You really feel like you're back in time.
Yeah, I think that's kind of it for me as well, is like doing so much traveling, you see castles from a distance, or you see ruins or something like that. You don't really get to go hands-on. They're always fenced off or something like that. And it actually welcomes you in and kind of says, explore me. And you end up exploring, like you're exploring your child imagination, because you're connecting with it. Like, oh, the castles and what were people like and stuff like that. And then you get to wander around and explore. And it's just a beautiful and rare thing. And the fact that you end up in almost every single room within the castle at some point. You're in the kitchen, like that grand kitchen is just amazing, right? And you're making things in the grand kitchen, and then you're upstairs in the white room, the reading room. You just end up in all these different spaces, and it's a beautiful experience that is kind of enriching because it doesn't have this kind of a museum piece. It's always engaging.
Yeah, I would say it really is the fullest embodiment of the saying that you truly have to be there to experience it. I mean, I've seen the pictures and all the ones that you've done, Patrick, and it takes me right there. But to see the picture and know that you were there and what that picture represents is much different than just seeing the picture.
Exactly.
And, you hear that, but that is the fullest embodiment of that expression. Like, I remember you take us on a tour when we first go there, and you're going through all these rooms, and it's literally like a bunch of however many adults are there. They're literally like a Toys R Us, because everyone is saying, did you see that in there? And then you're looking out
Love it. I can't get enough of that.
The initial tour, literally everyone is like they've seen a ghost. Like, you're just walking around like you can't, and you get lost. I got lost in there sometimes at night after more than one glass of wine. Like, honey, how do we get down to our room? I don't remember. How do we do that? I mean, literally, it's hard to describe. It truly is.
Yeah.
I think, not to interrupt, but I think also when you're on the property and you look over to the left and you're like, oh, there's Seggiano, which is the town, the hilltop towns. And then Montenegro, what is it? I'm having a total blank on the name of the other village that's on the other side. And it's like, my gosh, look at that. I mean, the simple things of having a cocktail, you're like, okay, we meet up, at the pool. If it's beautiful, we're going to watch the sunset.
The sunset.
I'm like, how many times do we get to do that back home? And it's a Tuscan sunset.
And it's the castle's right next to it.
Somebody was asking me, they're like, what is it that you love about it? I'm like, I love watching people show up and walk up the rampart and go in. And I'm like, that's what it's all about. It's for me, it's like, I just want to take care of people. I want to let adults be kids again and just kind of have that childlike wonder. And I'm really passionate about this area because it's also just such a gorgeous area of Tuscany, away from the crowds. I think that's the big thing. I love to look at the people's faces when they're checking out the rooms. They're like, oh my God, look at that. And they're like, oh, and I'm like, that is so cool to see adults doing that. Because how many times do you get to see that? I mean, you can go to Disneyland and you're like, oh, that's cool, but it's fake. This is real,
I remember walking through all the rooms and then realizing where I got to stay with you and Patrick. And I mean, it was incredible. And so as you pick out your room, there's pictures of that room, but then you're like, I get to stay here.
Exactly.
I get to sleep in this barren bed in this canopy princess room and Vincent's room. Vincent, we love you, by the way. Hello. Yes. Vincent, the princess room. There's so many spectacular parts and pieces. And then I want to highlight too, because as we bring on some of these relational components to this incredible experience that Marnie and Patrick have created, have invited Tom and I to layer on, which again, thank you. Such a privilege, such an honor, such a get to. They have this most incredibly adorable church on the castle property. And that is where we will be meeting every morning to talk about relationships and some of the skills and principles of romance. And we think of romance as like this idea that I have to have this epic moment and this epic experience without realizing romance is actually just utilizing your five senses. And I can't think of a better place and a better space to exercise the expansion of your five senses than on this beautiful place and space with beautiful people, beautiful food, beautiful things to touch and feel and breathe in and smell and taste and touch and hold and love and kiss than this beautiful place right here, all inside this adorable little church that sits right there. And I think if we had all 7 rooms filled, the little church would be bulging. And I'm so excited. I'm so excited to see that play out. So I know that we could go on all day about this incredible experience, but all of that to say it is something to do. It is an opportunity to take advantage of. And as I said earlier, I waited. And now I look back and go, why did I wait? Why didn't I snap up the first opportunity?
What happened until now?
Yeah. And yet we can wait our whole lives and never allow ourselves to experience something like this too. I could have waited, 5 more years or 10 more years, and then I could have waited until the opportunity had come and gone. I guess there's a delicate balance point there that I just want to point out. Like, this is speaking to you. If this is something you go, oh my gosh, I've got to do this. Well, okay, I don't know of a better time than now. And our head is going to conjure up all of these reasons as to why not. Oh, it's not the right time. Is this going on? And I always reflect back on this because I'm like, I literally went from my son's wedding, of 250 people to Italy 7 days later. Like, who does that? And the year before I was saying, oh, it's 2 months between this and that. I probably can't. Oh, it's, I'll think about that next year. I've got these 6 months of planning and this and this and this happening. But it's amazing that once you just decide you're going to do it, you go.
Well, and I would just add that, by design, Patrick and Marnie and Patrick, all you have to do is get there. So, if you want to do other things before or after the retreat, obviously, please do so. And Marnie's awesome at that. She's actually just shared with us. She's created some guides. But point here is once you arrive, we got you. Just get there, and then we got you, literally. And so
let us take care of you.
Yes, exactly.
You don't have to do anything besides get up whenever you want, have a glass of wine in your hand or not. You really don't have to do anything. You could actually, it's just what a rarity.
Yeah.
That beautiful white space that we all need to slow down. And then we have those moments of, wow, I forgot I really like you. Right. Oh, I forgot that I really enjoy this or want to explore that. And so it's the white space that sets in that allows you to discover things within yourself and within your relationship that you've forgotten, right? Because you're trying to run so hard and so fast and accomplish so many things that you forget about all those beautiful things in there as well.
One of my favorite things to do at the castle is at the end of the day, after dinner, is like Pat and I will go sit out, like we're the little apartment that we stay in the castle. There's a wall that's overlooking the river and the trees and the mountain. And we go out there and we bring a glass of wine and we sit on the wall and we just are just out there. We're bundled up in a jacket and we just take it in. Like one night we were out there and there were fireflies down below. So we're watching them. We're watching, shooting stars. You don't really hear any cars either because there's not many things happening out there. And it is magical. The moon, when it's been there full moon, it just reminds you what life's about. That's slowing down and just being with your person or even being by yourself. I just love it.
And maybe if you're lucky, you might hear Charlotte being a disco and hearing some boogie tunes.
Yeah. That was unexpected.
Just
maybe
wait.
Frank, who knows? Maybe Frank will come back for
That'd be incredible.
Who knows?
So yeah, there could be some surprises. That's all I'll say. There could be some surprises.
You want to talk about play and novelty?
Oh boy,
Ooh,
yeah.
It's absolutely going to be part of the experience as well. So for those of you listening right now who really are craving an experience that nourishes your connections with yourself, with others, with nature, essentially feeds your soul on all of our human levels, do it.
Please join us.
Experience this with us. We would love to support you in this beautiful place and space. This isn't a trip just to Italy. Sure, you could book it. And as Marnie so elegantly said, you could run around here and here and here and here and here and not really be able to soak up any of it. You have the privilege and honor of saying, I've been here and here and here and here and here. Yes, but did it move you? Did it reconnect you with you, your soul, your life, your humanity, your ability to connect with all things human? Because once we come to the castle, we stay there with the exception of a day trip to a winery. But on that property, you get to soak up what it means to slow down and be human once again, and to love from deeper parts of yourself. And so it really is a wonderful get to.
Yeah, it's a thing where we've been talking about it. It's crafting a forever memory. How often do you get to do that? That's some of life's magic right there.
Yeah. So whether you're rekindling love with your partner or rediscovering yourself among kindred souls, wanting to just explore deeper places and spaces within yourself or the land or the place or the history, I want you to know that each retreat will absolutely guarantee to slow you down, help you breathe deeply, and stir up perhaps what's been waiting beneath the surface. And you can visit this at stacibartley.com to reserve your spot. We've designed a very detailed outlay of this retreat. You book your room, claim the one that you want to, be in. And I'll tell you what, the earlier you go, because there's only 7 couples in both retreats, one in September, one in October, you book early, you're going to have the pick of the litter.
Yeah, the one in September is almost booked, actually. We just released that to friends and family, and that one's just about. But don't worry. The October one is in the middle of October, and that one is designed for couples and not anybody takers. And whoever is the first one to reserve gets a choice of any 7 rooms that they want.
Yeah, you'll have choices.
Yeah, exactly. So before we wrap up, is there any last words about the retreat, about life, about what we're co-creating together from anybody?
I'll say this, like we've done quite a few retreats now. And one thing that's absolutely beautiful about it is all the connections you make with all the people.
Yes.
You sit with different people and you break bread with them and have family style dinner. It's so fascinating. You connect and you're like, oh, I don't really know you. And then by the end, you're hugging and you're like, oh man, that was such a great experience.
People are sad. People are sad going, oh, I don't want, like what?
Yeah. It's like
summer camp for adults.
Summer camp for adults.
Well, just take a look at the dining room. That's all I need to say. I've never been in a dining room like this. Never. And I look at that picture and like Patrick said, the fond memories of the different people you're meeting. And, when you break bread, come on, that's really what we need to do. And it's been done for thousands of years over wine. It's a special experience. It really is.
And you're drinking wine from the estate
Yes.
That's been growing. It's all biodynamic, no pesticides. It's pretty amazing. And not to give it a little plug, but the New York Times actually just named it as one of its 20 favorite dining rooms in the world. So that tells you anything.
Wow.
And also what Condé Nast, the Travel and Leisure, just did something in March of last year and then updated in June. It's also one of the 20 most amazing castles you need to visit in your lifetime because there's such huge Etruscan history. It's a special place.
That's incredible.
Please join us. Really, there is truly limited capacity. It's just, there's the rooms that there are, but I would assure you, once you step in, you're going to have a big smile on your face. You really will. We'd love to have you.
Be glad you came. Yeah. All right, let's hop into a little bit of follow the fun here tonight. I'm going to invite you to savor the little things and create a little dinner ritual, something that we looked forward to in the castle where we'd all sit around the table. And Marnie did an excellent job of curating shares and questions. We even had a birthday celebration there, which was incredible with a beautiful birthday cake and sparklers. But tonight, begin your own, and I want you to extend an invitation to each person that's sitting at your table to share one small moment from the past week that felt surprisingly meaningful or brought a moment of joy to you. And after everybody's gone around the table, then I invite you to offer a toast to all at the end of the sharing. And essentially the toast is this: to the small moments that become the big remembered ones, because that's what Marnie and Patrick have done for me. The small moments that have turned into big ones. And the song tonight. And by the way, Marnie and Patrick, you can chime in here. You might have a song that you want to contribute to. My song was one of my favorites, Nora Jones' Come Away With Me. let's go to a magical place.
What's it?
Do you have a favorite love song?
We
that
put
the
them
two
on
of
the
you-
spot.
Yeah,
to
we
be
have.
fair.
Oh, let's see. We have some cheesy. Like our wedding had some really cheesy songs.
Give us
I love going into like some real corny stuff.
good.
Like
Give
we've
us
been
one.
listening to Peter Cetera.
What this love was meant to be. The kind of love that lasts forever. Anyway, laughter.
Yeah.
That's the other reason
Oh,
why I
I
love
get
this dude. He makes me laugh so hard.
I love that. And that's the reason why we love being with you. We laugh so hard. So thank you so much to the two of you. And by the way, tell us a little bit about your savory pies before we sign off. Like, they are spectacular. We were able to eat them in the castle.
Marnie made us some, in the castle ovens. They were absolutely delicious.
Delicious.
Yes. So
Like,
what-
I don't even like meat pies, to be honest, but they were fantastic.
Most meat pies are kind of like, you think of like the Swanson pie.
Yeah.
Our pies are quite different. You know, they're more of like a gourmet flair. I get my inspiration from Italy and from France in making the pies. So like we have a Napa steak, which is more of actually like a beef bourguignon is one of them. Our biggest thing is all about the puff pastry, all butter puff pastry on top, pâté brisé on the bottom, which is a French style pastry. In our pies, I'm trying to think of, like, we just released a Tuscan balsamic lamb, which I got inspiration while we were in Tuscany. We released not long ago French turkey and leek with Dijon and tarragon, and it's
Cream.
yes, and we sold out of that a couple weeks ago, and it's coming back. Provençal chicken, so it's, you know, one day we will be doing probably a provincial, more like a Provence retreat, but so. Basically, we do e-commerce, so people buy our pies online. It's solsticesavorypies.com. We ship them to you, or we do local delivery. So we ship all across the United States. And then we also do local delivery in the greater Sacramento area. So frozen, it's really easy. You just get them in your freezer when you get them, and then pop them in the oven whenever you don't feel like cooking, or when you feel like cooking, makes your house smell delicious.
Oh my gosh.
It's so comforting.
Kids love them.
Kids,
Adults
like
love
our sons who are 18 are like, oh my gosh, they eat pies all the time. But yeah, right now we just have our other flavors coming back, the turkey and the Tuscan Italian sausage, which is an homage to the Tuscan pie that I made when we were at the castle. So yeah, you can just order our pies online. They're not like a traditional pot pie. I tell people they're really high end, really gourmet. It's like a gourmet meal in a pie. So yeah.
I would attest that. They are fantastic. And I don't even like meat pies. I remember telling my mom that I couldn't eat another meat pie because those Swanson babies were really big at my household when I was growing up. These were incredible.
So when I was in college, I lived off those things for like a whole summer. And I was like, never again. You know? And then here I am.
Here you are in the pie business.
Those pies have their place. It's just different. It's like, I tell people, I'm like, it's not a traditional pot pie. It's just different.
That's a total understatement. Okay. So thank you so much for being here inside of the Love Shack with us.
Thank
And
you.
Mom, Patrick, thank you so much for taking the time out of your day to come and have this conversation, to not only just share your human relational story, but again, to allow us to co-create something really epic with all that you have created. Thank you so much. It's truly an honor. And thank you so much to the listener for being here with us today as well. I invite you that if this conversation has moved you, helped you feel a little more seen, or has given you something to think about or consider, please, I invite you to share it with someone that you care about. That's how this podcast grows, human to human. And you may also want to consider leaving us a review and or pop over to my website and book your room at the castle. Again, it's very limited. There's only 7 rooms. The September retreat is pretty much full, but the October retreat at this current moment is wide open for the takers, but I suspect it's going to go fast.
Join us.
Remember, love isn't enough, but skills are. Learn them, practice them, and live them. Bye-bye for now.
All right, it's time to leave the Love Shack. But before we part ways, we want you to know our door is always open and we'll leave the porch light on, ready to welcome you back whenever you need a dose of relationship wisdom. For more resources and tools, visit us at loveshacklive.com to dive deeper into the topics we've explored and find additional support for your relationship journey. Stay connected by subscribing to our podcast. Thank you for being part of our Love Shack Live community.